Hello, welcome to two more videos. Well, this one and the next one, and then we're done. You can then fully go and develop your 2D game a bit further. This is part 16. There should be one more part, maybe two more parts, depending how it goes today. Today we're going to be looking at finishing off our enemy, creating a hitbox system, and as well as getting our skeleton to face us when attacked. So that's the thing we're going to go on to first. Hopefully a nice little easy bit. If we look at the moment, if we press play in our game, we can walk over. Yeah, it's got some dodginess. We can see if we attack him, or if we go over to him, just making sure we collide with him, he attacks us, but then he's not, he's not looking over the other side or anything like that. So that's what we need to sort out today. So as soon as we've passed that distance, he should go back to his normal animation. Yeah, like he done before. Wicked. Cool. So what we need to do is, again, look at our distance, calculate the distance, but also create up a smaller variable within our move method called direction, and then find how we can create a script for our enemy to know what is left and what is right. And the easiest way to do that is through locating the position of our skeleton. And just like when we start creating games and we first look at Unity, we understand that 0 is in the center of our game. So for example, 0 is in our center here, and if we went this way, we would be going to plus numbers, and if we went left, we would be going to negative numbers. So if we calculate the position from our skeleton as 0, and then if we are facing a positive number, he will look right, and if we attack him from the left, he will go to a negative number, so face the other way. And that's probably the easiest way we can do that. So first off, let's test this out. Let's open our skeleton script and sort this out. So we go to enemy, skeleton, lovely, there it is. Fantastic. So next thing we are going to do, let's have a look. Let's do this in movement. So what we can do is, because it's a form of movement onto our object, it's going to be a vector 3. We're going to call this direction. The other one was distance. Cool, we're not going to get confused by that. So direction, that is good. We can then say that's equal to the player's direction of dot local transform dot local position, which is then going to minus, not plus, minus from our transform dot local position of our player, of our enemy, sorry. So that's what we're saying here. We're saying a vector 3 direction equals our players, wherever our player's location is, minus the location of our character, because then we can figure out a distance. Okay, so if we need to visibly see that, we can create a debug. So if we go straight under that and write debug.log, we can then say, let's just say side, for example, and then we can say that will be plus, because we want the direction.x of our player. Cool, so let's do a bit of pseudocode so we understand what's happening. So for this is enemy knowing what side player is. Simple as that. Keep that as a little bit of pseudocode. What we're going to do is save this, and then what we can do, let this compile. Cool, lovely. If we press play, we should, at the bottom left-hand corner on our console, as you can see now, we are now getting a minus number. Okay, this is good. So what we can do is then move over, run over to here, and what we're getting if you see rightly, he's moved to the left, and as soon as he moves again, as soon as he moves past us, he should go. I think it's done the opposite, isn't it? Oh, there we go. So if I move left, that's minus. If I move to the right of him, I'm on a plus number. So what we want him to do is to be able to then attack, and then he will flip either side. So doing the debug, that's right. So we've got a minus number. So that's a plus still, plus, plus, plus. And we move to the left, should be a minus. There we go. As we can see in this bottom left-hand corner here, if you don't understand what I'm doing. So there we go. Minus, plus, and then negative numbers. There we go. Fantastic. That is working all fine. So we now know, now we've centered him off through transform position, we need to do the whole sprite flip sprite thing. So let's have look at our script. We do have a sprite renderer underscore sprite. That is good. So this would be an if statement. So let's do this here in movement again. So if we say if direction is direction.x, sorry, if direction.x is more than 0, we can say we are going to be facing right, and then we can say else if of the same thing. We can then say, well, not the same thing, direction is more than 0. It's direction.x, always forget that. There we go, direction.x. We can say we are facing left. Easy as that. Okay, so we also want him to face us while in combat. We want him to be attacked, then he will look round the other way. So we need to have a look at in combat. So if we look up here, can you see we wrote and for this, for our animation states, and anim.getBall in combat equals false. Well, we want that to be true when he is attacked. So what we can do is do exactly the same that we did for there, and anim dot getBall in combat is then going to equal true with another bracket there. And then we can say, let's do that for the same here as well. So and anim dot getBall is in combat equals oh, so I didn't come out this marks, speech marks as equals true again with a brackets. And then for facing right, we can easily say, what was it called? Underscore sprite. There it is. Underscore sprite dot flip x. The first one is going to be false. We don't want him to when we're facing right, because that's his standard position. We don't want him to flip. But when we hit him, attack him from the left, we want that to be true. So this should create him to flip when we attack him. Cool, so save this script. Let's go back. Let's let Unity compile. There we go, no issues, that'd be lovely. So let's click play. Let's go over to him. So if I attack him, there we go, he's facing the right side, and if I turn the other way, he's facing left. Fantastic. And again, the right side and the left side he is attacking. That is working very, very well. And hopefully, if we jump back over here, he should revert back to his original, there he is, gone back to his original positions, his original animation. Fantastic. Cool, working. So what we're going to do is, because that's working, we're going to save our game. Cool, so now what we need to do is essentially have a look back. We need to create the hit system for our hitbox system for our skeleton. And that is exactly the same way that we've done this with our original player. And that, I believe, was part 12. You can go back to part 12 if you can't remember how to create a hitbox system. I will do the standard setup, and then through the animation process, I'm going to do that really quickly. I'll do a little speed up video, and then we will implement all those bits and bobs afterwards of the layers and stuff like that as well as looking at some scripts, and that should be the rest of the video. That should put us well into setting up our attack system for our skeleton. Okay, so what we did before, as you can see, all I'm going to do is follow player. What did we do in player? So we've got gravity scale's at 1 there. It's weird. I didn't think that should be at 1, but oh well. That looks correct. Thought gravity scale should be... Oh no, because it's on the player. Sorry, I'm looking at hitbox. Ooh, hitbox. There we go. So this is what we want. So we want exactly the same as this. So we're going to create another hitbox within the sprite for our skeleton. So there we go. There's his sprite. Let's go. What did we do? We created a sprite, didn't we, actually? That's what we called it, sprite. So let's go to the object sprite. We're going to call this. Yeah, I'm just going to call this hitbox again, and hopefully I won't confuse myself. Or you can call this enemy hitbox or whatever. So, and what did we do for this? We added a 2D box collider, and so we did a sprite at the start though, didn't we? Because we have this. So let's concentrate on our skeleton within our view here. There we go. And what we did was we added a tiny little sprite right at the bottom that we found. There we go, the UI sprite. Let's change the order of layer to, what do we do, 20? Can't remember. There we go, it's popped up. Oh no, it must be 50. I think it was 50, something like that. Let's try that. There we go, that pops up to stuff, up to the start, and then we can move this around so it works like a handle. And let's just scale that down like so. Cool, so this works as a handle and works as a guide for when we're adding our 2D box collider, which we're going to do now. So we're going to add components, box collider 2D, the Irish blues, add that, and then we're going to also add a rigid body 2D, and gravity scale was at 0. And we're also going to make sure our 2D box collider is a trigger. I can't see a thing with this. So what I'm going to do is I'll just quickly turn off this background. Sky. Get rid of that. Can I see the 2D box collider now? Yeah, I can see that a lot better. So I'm just going to quickly turn that off so I can see my box collider even better from this view here. I'm then going to click onto my animation tab down here because I'm already on my skeleton, and we know that our hitbox is talking to the same animations because it's parented within the skeleton idle animation. Gravity scale, I can't speak. Gravity scale at 0. Let's just see what else we did here. And then we, as soon as we got that as a marker, we deleted the sprite, didn't we? Cool, no worries. So, with this hitbox, should I make it the whole size of that? Yeah, let's do that. So, what I'm going to do is go to my attack animations. Make sure I'm on the first. Okay, cool. First thing. So what I'm going to do is then remove my sprite renderer component, and then I can press record, and let's record the first frame of what this is doing. So this might be a bit of a big box collider, but oh well. So what I'm going to do is start this off. And then we'll just go from there. Actually, if I bring that up to about here, and then that covers, you're not going to get hit by the bottom really, are you? So you might want to create a better box than this. This is a bit poor, to be fair. Cool. So while I'm in record, I'm going to keep going through and rattling through. So there we go, he's getting ready to attack now. I'm going to leave that there for that one. That's fine. Let's change to that one. Maybe rotate it just a smidge. Cool. Oh, there we go. So, and now I'm going to go cycle through each one and rotate this around. Move that back to there actually. So hopefully you can remember this painstaking part now. It's not that painstaking, it's just a little bit annoying. Make sure we cover the whole weapon, like so. Quickly move that up. Whoa, look at that one. Cool, lovely. So as you can see there, the whole animation is set up there with the hitbox now, which is marvelous. Very, very happy with that. There we go. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is, oh, not recording. Let's press pause on that. Is make sure that our box collider is only on when we attack. Okay. I've done this before and I've really confused myself, but I've kind of gone through it within my head. So what we're going to do is uncheck our box collider 2D outside of recording. In recording, I'm then going to check that on. You can see that I've now got a red box. And that will now record my box collider within the animation, okay? And then I'll just press record and then come out of that again. That has gone to a blue tick because if I go to another animation, you can see that's now gone. The box collider has unchecked. So, but if I went back, obviously to attack, that means you're in combat. And then obviously if I press play, that box collider would come on just like that. There we go. And then I'll press pause. Cool. Lovely. Okay, so what we now need to do is do the layering system like we did before, the same as our player. But with this one, we're going to create two different layers as we want the enemy to be separate from the enemy attack. And at the moment, I believe the enemy is completely untagged. So what we're going to do is, what should we do first? Let's do the attack first because this is we're on the hitbox. So what we're going to do is go to layers, go to add layer, and in unit user layer 12, let's create enemy attack. And I'm calling this enemy and not skeleton attack simply because this can be used for every single enemy. So then we go back to hitbox. So we should have enemy attack. Then let's go to skeleton enemy and create another layer. I'll just call this enemy. Oh, make sure I've got capital E. Lovely. So what we're then going to do is click on skeleton underscore enemy. Good. And then we're going to choose, and now I can't see, oh, no, tag, sorry. Go to layer, and then we're going to choose the enemy layer. This will ask us to change children. We're going to say yes, change the children, but we're then going to make sure on hitbox that we change this to enemy attack. Okay, so we don't want to attack ourselves. The enemy does not want to attack himself. So we need to make sure that the enemy attack layer is going to ignore the enemy layer, the normal enemy layer. And if you don't remember what we did before, what we did is we went to, I believe, edit, went to project settings, we then went to physics 2D, as you can see here, and then we went down to the layer collision matrix. So we need to make sure that our enemy attack is not going to see our enemy. So let's have a look. Enemy attack. Don't want it to see enemy, but it's not popping up. That's annoying. Why is that not doing? Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. Oh no. That's enemy attack and enemy attack. We want. Yeah, that can't happen. Oh yes it is, that's fine. So if we go down to enemy, look at enemy attack, uncheck that. There we go. Just like we did with player, unchecked it from the sword, we've now gone from enemy and unchecked it from player, enemy, just like that. Lovely, so what we're going to do is make sure we save that. That's really, really important. We now, what we can do is within our hitbox, we can add an attack script. Because if we have a look at this attack script, if you double click, nothing is separating it or nothing is individual for the player. It can be used wherever it wants to be. It's also not inheriting but contractually obliging to the iDamageable, which we now need our player to work with as well. So what am I going to do? We need to make sure that once our attack script is attached to our hitbox, just make sure it is, there it is. For our skeleton, we now need to make sure that our player script is also deriving, or not deriving for, but following to the contract obligations of iDamageable. So, because we're going to do the same system of attack, so we don't have to keep writing different attack scripts, which is really handy. And again, another advantage of doing inheritance scripts as well as contractual scripts with iDamageable. Let's go into scripts. Let's find our player. And with this, we are now going to do comma dot iDamageable because it's going to contract from iDamageable. And as you can see, we've got the red line because we are not meeting the contract obligation of those contracts. So if we do it skeleton, we certainly did. So what we need, I don't even know what's in iDamageable. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at how that open as well. So what we've got is our damage and health. So these are a set of rules that we need to abide by. Sorry. So first off, let's do what was it? Integer health get and set. So let's do integer health, and then it was a curly brackets, and then get, and then get. There we go, curly brackets, and then set curly brackets. Lovely. I don't think you need to do anything else after that. And then what we're going to do right at the bottom, let's add our void damage. What am I talking about? Method. And so with this, let's check if, I'm not sure if it will work yet, but it's always good to test something out. Let's write a debug log for this. So debug.log. And what we want is, let's call this player damage. And then we know that this has worked. With the attack script, if our skeleton attacks us, and it says player damage appears in our console, we now know that all of this is implemented and it's working because it's popped up here. So let's save this. If it doesn't, we can fix it in the next video. Let's go to our game. Oh, something's... have a look at this. Something's up. Player does not implement the interface member iDamageable health. Oh, it does. I did add it in. Let's have a look. Save. Oh, because it needs to be public. I think we did this for skeleton as well. Yeah, it needs to be public. Cool, no problem. Public. Save. What else did the skeleton have? Getting sets. Oh, still went for a red line under it. Interesting. Damage is there. Player does not implement the interface iDamageable damage. It flipping well does. So why doesn't it like that? Let's have a look at the skeleton again. Is it public? Is it public void? Public void. Yeah, it's the publics. I thought it would be. Where are we going? Let's go. Public void damage. Save that. Has that underline gone away? It has. Lovely jubbly. Let that compile. Cool. Let's put that background back as well. Let's zoom out a little bit. So we should make sure, just to make sure, we need, once our skeleton's been attacked, it should say player damage. If it doesn't, that's okay. We can sort that. So he's attacking us. He's attacking us. I can't really see. Let's pause the game. As he's attacking us. Oh, good screenshot. Let's double click this again. Oh man, double click this again. Oh man, there's loads of stuff here. Let's quickly unpause that, play that. Where's that distance thing? That needs to go away, isn't it? Yeah, let's get rid of this. Sudo that out quickly. That's fine. What did we write? So what we're looking for? Player damage. Press play. Let's jump over here. Let's attack him. Man, we've still got distance. Why is side still there? There's too much going on. Let's unpause this. So I'm just going to get sudo out some debug that we just don't need anymore. That is gone. Why is that still there? Debug. Let's get rid of that as well. We don't need that. What else are the debugs we've got? Don't need that. We know that's working. Any more debugs? No, let's quickly save that. Cool. We shouldn't have any distance or anything like that because I've debugged it out. It shouldn't be appearing. There we go. So let's quickly jump across. Jump's fine. Does it pop up? Oh, there it is. Yay! Awesome. So if we quickly pause this, we can see that we have player damage that has been recorded. Cool. So we are now all set up for our enemy. And the next thing we're going to do is health. And as soon as we die, we're done. So see you in the next video. Thank you.